Every year in the month of April, advocates aim to increase awareness surrounding sexual assault and domestic violence. In this week's Salute Our Heroes report, 13's Daisha Gear speaks with one advocate who's being recognized for her efforts in fighting for justice for survivors across our state.
Kathy Ray serves as the executive director for the Manhattan Crisis Center. The Kansas Coalition Against Sexual and Domestic Violence awarded her as the Kansas recipient of the 2026 Visionary Voice Award.
Even though I was nominated for this award, there are so many people I worked with over the years that helped make these projects and these things come to life and to make them possible.
Ray has pushed for stronger resources for victims of sexual violence for more than 2 decades. She said those services were scarce when she first started due to societal stigmas.
I was involved in a number of different projects focused specifically on improving responses. Was involved in some public policy efforts and state level committee work to do that, and it was an honor. You know, pretty hard pressed to find someone who's not affected by sexual assault and sexual violence these days.
While progress has been made, Ray says change begins with society's perception of sexual and domestic violence, starting with younger generations.
We have got to be better about sending messages as a community, both to perpetrators and to survivors. You know, when people walk into your community, they should know that if you commit an act of sexual assault or rape, you're not going to just get away with it. The prosecutor's going to prosecute. Law enforcement's going to investigate. You're going to be held accountable. The community norms are so important.
Her crisis center offers safe shelters, crisis intervention, and a 24-hour help for those who need immediate resources. It begins with a phone call or text message to connect victims with an advocate.
If you know someone who has been sexually assaulted, or if whoever is watching at home has been assaulted, reach out. There is support. You don't have to go through this alone.
Daisha Gear, 13 News.
And by the way, Safeline Kansas offers a 24-hour helpline for victims of sexual and domestic violence. You can contact them by calling 888-363-2287, or you can text the word SAFE to 847-411. They will connect you or someone you know with resources where you live.